Yo, nephew, hand me that bar stool. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline. Fresh and clean.
Welcome to 21st in Prime, my man Rone. Jamie Dukes is on vacation. I don't know where he went. I don't know what he's doing, but I do know what's going on. And he didn't take his Heineken 00, 69 calories, no alcohol. I know that. And I don't think he's doing the 00 where he is.
Yeah, I think that he's having a good time, but that doesn't matter because we're going to be disciplined. We're sticking to the script. We're cranking out the shows, and we're staying lean and mean with the Heineken 00, 69 calories. I mean, that's barely anything. That's barely a snack. You're going to feel good, you're going to look good, and you're going to play good, Coach.
Speaking of snacks, alligator handler got dragged in the cage. I saw this, and when I saw it on social, I was like, oh my God. Then I saw the alligator start to roll, to do the alligator roll with her. Yes. And I thought it was going to break her arm because that was something else. I didn't see the end. I didn't see, did she get out? Did she make it out? Were there any injuries? There had to be some type of injuries. But everybody's back there yelling, oh my God, oh my God. Nobody's jumping in. Ain't nobody jumping in. And the sad thing about it, drop the camera and help me. If that ever happens to me, it ain't going to happen because I'm not going to be in a situation. Drop the camera, Ron, and help me.
Yeah, a guy that we work with, Caleb Presley, would always look at me different on shoots because I was always the kind of person, and maybe I'm stupid, I probably am dumb, who is always trying to get close to these animals, pet these animals, wrestle with these alligators. And then you see a clip like that, which is one of the craziest clips I've seen on the internet this week. This woman got manhandled by the alligator, and you kind of realize that these are not your friends. These are going to kill you if they get the opportunity. One of the craziest viral videos of the week out there.
Well, tell me this, Ron. And I don't, everything in life has become racist in one form of fashion. But I don't see this in our communities.
I was going to say it too. I was like, is it a white people thing just diving in?
I don't see this in our communities. I don't see the different attacks that we have. When you're going through the zoo, one of the riding zoos, and you get up and say, oh, look at the little lion. Like, we don't do that. Like, what is the difference? Is it the curiosity?
I don't know. I think that there has to be something like, there's just not an instinct in my brain that's telling me. Like, there should be an instinct that's like, you shouldn't be like playing with that snake. Like, you shouldn't be getting close to that tiger or trying to pet that lion or anything like that. But for some reason, you're right. White people love to go on a safari. They love to have like the rhinoceros eating grains out of their hand or something like that, or like they want to go confront it face to face. And I've been to your property. You're on a property where you're going to run into some wildlife in your day to day. Is there any part of wildlife where you're going to turn into Snow White or something like that and start talking to the animals?
No, I got something for the animals. As a matter of fact, we can't say what I got, but I got something for the animals. But I'm just wondering, like even the safari rides, I've never seen us in the top of that little Jeep going through the, whatever they call it. And you said, oh, look at the gazelle getting eaten by, like, we're not open. We're not even on the property, on the premise where somebody even thought about it, that it would be a good idea. They got swung on. Like we don't even get down like that. I don't know whether the curiosity, scary movies were never in scary movies. You understood? Never. Oh, what's that noise? Let's go over there and find out. Next thing you know, their whole head, we don't do that. You hear some, next thing you're going to hear, you go,
It was running. I'm trying to think of one like Anaconda. Who was in Anaconda? Was Ice Cube in Anaconda?
I only watch movies like that.
You don't even want to see
those
it?
kind of movies.
You don't even want to let it enter into your inner matrix. And what's crazy, though, is I even watched the video, and I still want to go on a safari. I still want to do it. And
Why?
I'm an idiot.
Why?
I'm curious. I don't think it'll happen to me.
We're not curious about those kind. I think you're curious and you're a risk taker. We take risk on other things, hood things. We don't take risk on things that really could end your life. Like we don't do that. We take other risks that could end your life in another way, but not that way.
Wait, I saw the one. I mean, if we're talking viral videos, there's a risk that you guys are taking that I haven't seen anybody else taking. This crate challenge, which might be more dangerous than getting into a pit with these alligators. I've seen people almost dying. I don't know what it is. You stack up like 7 layers of crates and then you wind up walking up like it's the podium at the Olympics or something like that. Have you seen this? Because the videos are insane.
I got 2 things. Where the crates coming from? That's number 1. Number 2, has anyone ever made it all the way across? Because I have not yet seen one. And I heard Snoop say so eloquently, whoever the brother is that came up with this, that came up to stack these crates so wonderfully in unison, he should win an award. He is a true waymaker, and he should be, what do you call it when you building buildings? What is that profession?
An architect.
Architect. He's a true architect.
He is, but he's also he's diabolical. He's setting these people up for some kind of failure. Because I saw one person get it the entire time. I must have watched 25 videos of it yesterday. I was glued to my phone, and the only person who got it was he had something in his hand that he was rolling up, so his attention was somewhere else, and he was able to roll up while he was walking over that.
He rolled up a fat one and made it.
He rolled up a fat one and made it, and he might be the most talented individual in the United States. We might have to have him.
One with the lady? I saw the one with the lady, and she had on the dress. I don't know why she had on the dress, and she took that challenge. She fell so hard. Like, it should be at least at football games, there's an ambulance on hand. Just in case.
Right.
We there for you. You gotta, when you do this stuff, and it looks to me that all of them are based in the hood. It's a hood location.
Right.
You gotta at least have the ambulance, unless the ambulance don't choose to come in some hood locations, which I found out they don't. You gotta at least have someone on hand to see to these people, because there has to be injuries that are sustained from this challenge.
Coach, they're falling face first. They're falling directly on their back. Like I'm expecting their soul to just leave their body and ascend right into heaven, because it looks like the most dangerous thing. And the question you asked earlier, where are the crates coming from? Why is there that every single hood in America that takes probably 49 crates? Everybody they just have these crates on hand at all time. It doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to keep on watching them because it's just dangerous enough where people aren't dying, but it looks like they should die. What is it? What is it? The lower abs? Like, what strength is being activated there?
Well, the crates are not soft either. So when you hit them, they pierce you as well. So it has to be really painful. It's not like they're given. And they should at least, in this challenge, they should at least have old mattresses on the side of the challenge. So when you fall, you can at least have a mattress be the home base. Because when you get hit in the side, I'm just moving right. That has to hurt, man.
It looks so painful. It's just, it's insane. One of the craziest trends. I think that people are getting bored. I think people are ready for football to come back. And like you said, they're not soft, but something soft is going on in the football world. And I want to get your opinion on this, Coach, because the NFL has implemented a new rule, and they kind of did it fly by night. They kind of snuck the rule in there, and we're only starting to see the fruits of the rule as preseason starts. But there's a no taunting rule, and you can get a 15-yard penalty just for standing up, flexing, and getting into somebody else's face. There was a running back on the Colts, Benny LeMay, who carried the defense for 10 yards. He put the whole team on his back. One of the most badass runs I've seen recently. But then he got a 15-yard penalty, which was more than the yardage he picked up. And he got a $3,600 fine. So if he doesn't make the team, that fine is going to be half of all the money that he's made this summer. Coach, does that rule make any sense to you?
It makes sense, and I can't believe that they would just call it for flexing. It had to be something said. Derogatory, inflammatory. It had to be something said. Just in our scrimmage yesterday, guy came in, one of the linebackers, did something and he just was profane against the guy that he hit. I don't mind the hit and all that, but you can't be profane and officials standing right there. That could have been a taunting call of 15 yards or more, or 15 yards and loss of down, of course. But I do understand them trying to take control of the game, but you got to allow the kids to have fun. Like if it's not humiliating your opponent, if it's not belittling your opponent, I think it's all go.
Yeah.
It's all go.
I'm going to take a line from the documentary, which is coming out very soon, the Coach Prime documentary. But there's a line in there, and this doesn't spoil anything, but you said it to one of your players after practice. You're kind of letting everybody know what's what. But you said to someone, I don't mind you talking that talk because you walk that walk. You play like that. So I don't mind you talking a little bit. Where does the line come in? Where do you draw the line between it's okay to talk because you're trying to fire everybody up, you want some juice, you want some chatter at practice, and where is it going too far where you're taunting or harming someone?
If it's detrimental to your team or belittling your opponent, that's where you draw the line. I don't think the referees and officials, they don't mind you talking a little smack, but if you being really profane, or you belittling him with a gesture, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I'm just worried that it's going to turn into somebody runs down to the end zone after an interception. They bring all the defense with them and everybody's going crazy. And then they get flagged for that. Like,
no, that's not taunting. That's just celebrating. That's not taunting.
Doesn't it feel like it feels like
taunting is you score on a guy and he's getting up off the ground and you spike the ball right by his head. Like that's taunting.
What about the peace sign? What if they throw up the peace sign or something?
While you're running towards the end zone and somebody's running behind you, that's taunting.
So does that touchdown get taken off the board if you throw
it? No, it don't get taken off the board. What happens is they penalize it because it had nothing to do with deep play. You were going to score anyway, but they penalized it shortly thereafter on the kickoff.
One of the things that I saw about this taunting was the teams who were pushing it, and one of them was John Mara, who's the owner of the Giants. And the Giants in the last 4 years have 18 wins. So I bet that he's tired of all the taunting going on because he's averaging about 4.5 wins a season.
Right.
You don't really see the Chiefs necessarily complaining about taunting because they're the ones in the fortunate enough position to be doing the taunting.
Exactly. I could understand why he's complaining. Speaking of football, Tyreek Hill.
Yes, sir. If we're talking about the Chiefs.
I feel a little different about this. Tyreek Hill said a couple things that was taunting to Usain Bolt. But T.O. came in and said, look, you're not fast enough to beat Usain Bolt whatsoever. Tyreek Hill said he was old and washed up. I don't like that part. Usain Bolt is an Olympic champion repeatedly. One of the fastest men ever to run ever. What he's accomplished, what he's done out of Jamaica has been unprecedented. Just because he cannot run or he chose not to run in the Olympics anymore, you can't say he's old and washed up. That we got to respect the game. You got to respect the game. That's game. Like Usain Bolt is game, man. And you got to at least give it some respect. I don't know if he was playing. I don't know if he was just trying to motivate Usain, but you can't say that. Like you can't do that because now there's a young kid in junior high school is talking to, or someday talk to him like that.
Yes.
And it's going to be the same thing. I've just always had an incredible amount of respect for my elders as well as to my opponents. Just always. Brother, you talk your joke. No. I've never in my life spoke negatively about anybody I've ever played against. The junk I talked was about me, about what I was going to do in the game, not about belittling him. I never said, I'm going to go out there and dominate Jerry Rice, and now I'm going to go out there and dominate this game. I'm going to go out there and do my thing. Never belittling another man, and I don't believe in that. But I applaud T.O. by saying, hey, man, there's a whole nother animal. They leave them Jamaican runners alone. Please, America, leave them alone.
They're dead serious over there. And like maybe you could speak to how much of a difference there is between just track speed and football speed. Because a guy like Usain Bolt is built for track speed. He's 6'5", long legs. He can absolutely fly. And I see that Tyreek wants to do this 70-yard dash. Maybe it's like somewhere in between this 40 and the 100, but it's a whole different game, right?
You don't want to do that. And this is straight honesty. I could fly. I could straight out fly on a football field. Because I played with all my speed. The Raiders had a whole track team that could have they could have taken right off the field and gone to Olympics and won in 4x1.
What years were this? What years did
in my era? I don't know what years.
Okay,
in my
okay.
era.
I didn't know if you were talking about the Darius Hayward Bay years.
Yeah. Track speed. Yeah, track speed is totally different. Now these guys can run on grass. They may not have played with all the speed because now you got to idle down and catch the ball. You got to turk the body. You got to do all kind of things. But I played with that speed. That does not mean that I was the fastest in the NFL. That means I played the fastest in the NFL, but I was not the fastest in the NFL. There's some guys out there right now, track-wise, could get on that track with Tyreek Hill and say, hey, man, I can any day you want this in the NFL. Right. But when you put that little joker on grass with a football, he hard to deal with. You don't want none of that.
Yeah, why? How? What is the difference? Like, how does he have that ability? Is it a different muscle group? Is it just his mindset?
It's just a different mode. A lot of guys are fast, but they don't play fast. Like you go to combine and you measure for these 40s, then you go back and look at the game tape and say, well, he ran a 4.3 at the combine. I ain't see that on tape. So now you got to do your homework and try to find out why. Why was he put in the right situations to be this guy? Was he not? It's a whole different type of game and a whole different understanding. Track guys from Jamaica, they have diplomatic immunity. Track ladies, women from Jamaica, diplomatic immunity. Leave them alone.
Talk about it. Talk about it because Sha'Carri Richardson just found out the hard way. She found out the hard way that these Jamaican ladies are nothing to deal with. They had her almost looking bad at the end of the race. I mean, she's still very fast, but she finished in last.
Give me your take on it. Give me your honest, don't sugarcoat nothing. I want the bar stools. How did you feel about the post-race interviews about everything?
I think that
when you heard, let's go back to when you even heard that she was going to have this race versus the first, second, and third performers from the Olympics from Jamaica.
So early on in this, I don't know if I believe in like American exceptionalism, but I was like, oh, she's going to race them. She's going to take care of business. Like it was almost a foregone conclusion that she's fast. She's been in the news cycle. And my stupid brain thought it was going to be like an automatic foregone conclusion that she would at least be competing. But after watching that, I was like, is she slow? Did we just give a bunch of the news cycle to someone who wouldn't have even been in the conversation otherwise? Because sometimes we have a habit of doing that, of making a lot of, because remember Lolo Jones, an Olympian who we would talk about every single year, a beautiful young lady, talented athlete, but at the same time, she wasn't winning medals. She wasn't at the top of the field. She was at the top of the news cycle. And unfortunately, that's what it looks like right now for Sha'Carri Richardson to me. She's at the top of the news cycle. She's a hot button issue, and she can get into some stuff about the weed or talking about marijuana or whatever. But when it comes down to being a track athlete, she's not on the podium. She's not in the top 5. She's not in the top 7. She didn't shine in a way that I thought that she was going to shine. I guess I just have to open my eyes. She wasn't everything that I thought she was.
Well, maybe that's because you indulge a bit and you were fighting for your fellow indulger.
Get up, stand up.
When it comes to Sha'Carri, Miss Richardson, my fatherly spirit comes out. And I want to protect her. I want to guard her. I want to hold her back and say, y'all leave her alone. Don't do that. Because she's so young, but she's so genuine and so raw and naive in certain things. When the whole marijuana thing came out, you got to understand I'm a coach as well as a parent. There are rules. There's regulations. You can't abort those. You got to do what everyone else is doing. So I didn't jump on that bandwagon of let Sha'Carri run, let her do this, let her do that. I wasn't on that. Like, you messed up. You missed your opportunity over a moment of satisfaction. I don't care where the grief came from. I don't care about that. These are rules, these guidelines. We got to stick by. It was a teaching moment for my team that I utilized this opportunity on. Now, when I first found out that she was going to run this race in the 100, I didn't like it. I didn't like it business-wise. I didn't like it at all because these Olympians.
Well, talk about the business-wise. What do you mean business-wise? You didn't like it?
Okay, I'm pretty sure there was some kind of financial aspect of it to even do this.
Right.
Okay, they were really hyped it up. She's going to race against the first, second, and third place, gold, bronze, silver in the Olympics, and I didn't like that because these girls had just run, like they were.
They're primed for it.
Just run. They're fresh. They still in training. They still in that mode. And I don't know if she digressed when all of this happened. I don't know if she sat back and was reading the clippings when all of this happened and on the gram, firing back at people, not losing focus. I didn't like it. Then you got to understand I'm an athlete. So I'm looking at the times that she's posted saying, hey, man, she can't run with these girls. No, her best would have not come in first, second, third, or fourth, or fifth in the Olympics. No, she's not ready for that. So when I saw that, I didn't like it. And then
in the track world, it's not a surprise. Like the times, like you know what times you're going to run. It's not like you're just going to out of nowhere run a whole second faster or a half second faster.
It's not a surprise. So when I saw when it ended, and two things, I saw her post-race interview, and my fatherly came in like, I just want to protect her because she don't know how this sounds. But there were more clips that she said some wonderful things that didn't make it to the mainstream, but the fiery clips did.
Yeah, you know all about that.
Oh man, I'm happy. The Jamaican ladies, they were so professional. They were like, we're not concerned about that. And they kept the interview going. Can we talk about something else? Kept the interview going because they weren't getting into that. It's like, hey man, we did our thing. You should be talking about us, not that. Because there's no other race in the world where you're talking about the person who finished last instead of no. But I just felt bad for her, man. I just want her to grow from this. I'm happy and thankful that they pulled her from the 200 because it could have been worse. Like now in the 100, it was here and here. That was the distance between. In the 200, it could be there. Like, so I'm happy that someone said, babe, you can't do this. I can't let you do this. I can't let you do this.
It's a tough position for her to be in because she just wanted to be a runner at the beginning of everything. It's not like she came in trying to change the world necessarily. And she kind of stood up for something that she believed in, but she was also in a bad spot and she had to justify her actions. Like it's almost like she got more than what she bargained for and now has to live in that world. But her statistics don't match up with the fanfare that's surrounding her. But
is that her fault? Is that her fault?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't necessarily think that it is her fault.
Now, the only thing that's her fault that I don't agree with, I told a story before you came on the show about I got a win suit. Like I used to have I'm going to win suit. Like if I know we're going to play this game and I know we're going to be dominating and I was going to do my thing. I knew I was going to do my thing every game, but not as a team. So I would grab a suit from the closet or two that week and say, I'm going to wear this because I know we're going to win and such. And, you know, the hype's going to be there, the cameras. She had on her I'm going to win lace front. You can't
wrong weave on.
You can't wear the I'm going to win lace front and do that. You can't, honestly, you can't. If I'm the manager, I'm looking at these times in these Olympics. I'm like, hey, baby girl, we need
the seventh place lace front. You need the seventh.
No, we need one of these. You know, I got my own brand. Okay, we need one of these. Let's put on a do-rag on this one, baby. We ain't going out here with no blonde lace front. We are not going out here with no blonde lace front boo-boo. Okay, not today. No, we gotta have this is not you wore the I'm gonna win lace front. No.
She did the humble one. She did the humble weave.
You should have went out there with Under Armour Scully on or something like that. You can't do that. Not
That's an excellent point, and you're not going to find points like that on any other show.
Oh no, I'm telling you,
show.
we were getting ready to go play against Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Jake Reed, I think Robert Smith in the playoffs one time, and I was like, I don't know about this. I went to grab a mink to out the closet. I grabbed the white fox, right? Because it was freezing. I grabbed the white fox, and I thought about that thing. I said, I don't know about this one. No. Give me that London Fog. Give me
something softer, something a little bit more subdued.
No, I'm not wearing the white full-length fox where I had to hold my shoulders up so I wouldn't touch the ground. Not that game. No.
Because you can't be in the post game. You can't be in that post game press conference looking like $1 million, feeling like 20.
No, ain't nowhere in the world.
You can't. You absolutely can't.
Not that day.
That's hilarious. Before we get on to the next topic, let me talk to the people very quickly about our good friends over at Cross Country Mortgage. Cross Country Mortgage is just like us at Barstool, a people-first group of people. They're dedicated to the fundamentals of mortgage lending, and that results in a fast, convenient, less stressful home financing or refinancing experience. And people might need to refinance. If they want to get the mink, if they want to put a little cash aside for the mink, you'll be able to save more money ever because the rates are so unbelievably low right now. Don't pay the bank more money than you need to. Put some money aside for the mink by linking up with the good folks over at Cross Country Mortgage. If you're a homeowner and you haven't refinanced recently, you could be missing out on thousands, tens of thousands, heck, who even knows, hundreds of thousands of dollars might be left on the table because the life of the loan, that's a long time. So you might want to have that thing working for you instead of working for it. And that's why you want to link up with Cross Country Mortgage. Rates are at an all-time low. Call today for a fast, free rate quote. The partners will save you a lot of money, and our friends at Cross Country Mortgage will give you a free home valuation, free to you just for calling. crosscountrymortgage.com/barstool to learn more about your future home buying experience or refinancing your current mortgage. Cross Country Mortgage LLC, NMLS 3029, all loans subject to underwriting approval. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Coach, let's talk. Where can we go into? Because there's lots of different ways that we could go into, but I want to talk maybe a little bit about our guy, Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald recently said that he doesn't have the urge to play football right now, with an emphasis on the right now. And he says, right now, I'm a radio broadcaster, but that's kind of leaving the door open for an October, November return for Larry Fitzgerald. But I'm curious from your point of view what it's like to be a player who still has the physical gifts to be able to play in the NFL if he wants to, but he doesn't necessarily have the mental desire to be in the game right now. What do you think Larry Fitzgerald is going through?
You can never get that back. I left the game for 3 years and came back because I just wanted to put a period at the end of the sentence. I didn't like the way I left the game, and I was having football you want, but you can never regain everything that you walked away from. It's no way. When you say that, that's an alarm that goes off in one's head that says he don't want this. So when are you going to decide that you do? But then when you decide that you do, I may not be where I was then, and I don't want you. It's not a good look. It's not a good thought process whatsoever.
Yeah, is it about a ring for him? Do you think that he's just kind of sticking around and seeing like, oh, they're about to win a championship? Like, will he come back if it looks advantageous?
What you get, just the bottom of the ring? If you like, that's what they do. That's what they do in the major leagues. In baseball, you go to the World Series. No matter, depending on where you came and what you contributed, they give you a whole share of the World Series money leading up to that, half share, quarter of a share. They really vote on that stuff. It should be the same with rings. Why would you get a whole ring and you just got here? You just got here in November. Or you just got here in December. No, you get a picture of the ring, a t-shirt and a hat. But no, you didn't help us get this whole ring, not whatsoever. So
do you think, do players feel some sort of way if a guy comes in at the end of the day, or is it just anybody who's here?
Depends on what he contributed. What did he contribute when he came in? If he just came in to come in just to give you a little more girth at that position, a little more stability, a little more experience at that position. I understand, but if he bring them to the table, why are we doing this?
Yeah, if I'm a wide receiver 4 for like for the Cardinals, and he comes back in November and starts taking my snaps, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, you could be mad all you want to, but he's still Larry Fitzgerald, and his worst day may be your best day. But that's up to the GM. If the GM has a roster where guys at the crib better than the guy that you got here, that's your problem. You did that as a GM. That has nothing to do with Larry Fitzgerald.
Can you talk about the time that those 3 years that you spent and what was going on mentally that kind of drew you back towards football? Like, were there times that you were enjoying not being away, or were there times where you just
enjoyed it? I always enjoyed it because I was doing television. I was doing television with CBS, and then I had a transition where I wasn't with CBS, and I'm just sitting there like, I want to get. Let me see. I think and then I was out there coaching my kids, having a good time, and I got a call from one of my dearest friends, Corey Fuller, about a possibility with the Ravens. Somebody went down and he's like, "Hey man, would you like to play?" I was like, "Man, I'm out here with my kids. I ain't done nothing, and I don't know how long." And they really was serious. So Ray called me after that, Ray Lewis, and I said, "Let me really start thinking, see if I can click my mind, because it's not the regular prime role. It would be nickel and sporadically here and there, probably 30 snaps a game at the most. I could do that in my sleep. I could lock somebody down for 30 snaps. That's easy."
But isn't nickel traditionally like? Were you actually playing in the? Was it a slot type of? So
I had to learn that. But I did play outside too. But I had to learn that. I had to learn all that stuff because I ain't have no coverages. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people's body type would change pretty quickly after they got out of the NFL. Like, I see linemen who get super skinny. I see D-backs who get a little heavier. Did you have to go through that much of a body change?
No, because I've always been committed to me, which means it sounds selfish, but always been committed to always working out, always keeping myself in shape. All my suits don't have belt loops. I'm going to say that again. I don't own a suit with belt loops. That means my waist needs to stay the same, or I can't fit any of my clothes.
That's so insane. So insane.
I got them made that way, so I got to stay lean.
But that's something to shoot for.
Yeah,
that's something to strive for everybody else. Just stay in that good shape. Like, I tried to get a new suit made, and like an idiot, I put some belt loops on it because like I enjoyed getting a custom suit made. So I said, let's go back and get another one. But I put the belt loops on. I should call them up and say, no belt loops. I'm going to hold myself to another standard in case the Ravens make the call.
There you go.
You never know when the Ravens are going to make the call.
You never know when they're going to call. Well, you're a Philly guy. You never know when the Eagles are going to call.
And if the Eagles do call, I definitely will be ready. But if we want to talk about another team in their division, I saw a report this morning from Adam Schefter, and he said that there's a chance that Dak might not be healthy for the entire season.
What does that mean?
I think that they're saying that maybe his shoulder stuff that he's going through is a product of his ankle stuff. He might not be able to push off as much on his ankle.
How your shoulder is a product of your ankle? How does that work?
From what I read,
my ankle and my shoulders hurt. I stopped my toe and the tip of my finger hurts. Like, how did that work together? Help me, because I'm not a doctor. I got a great education, but I'm not a doctor. But I just want to know, how do my ankle attribute to my shoulder?
So what they were saying was he can't push off as much on his leg, so he has to overcompensate with the throwing arm. I don't understand it. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I don't know if it's an excuse, like a pre-excuse, or if they're just trying to temper the expectations. But it seems like the Cowboys keep on saying nothing's wrong, but he's not going to play for a couple more practices.
Oh,
nothing's wrong.
He don't need to. Honestly, long as he's straight practice-wise, and long he can get up, he can get up in there and click it, and it looks like it's supposed to look. I don't need that. We got a couple guys here and that's a little banged up. I'm like, man, I don't need you in the scrimmage. I need you the week prior to September the 5th. So we have a great week of practice, which a week and a half, and I need you for that opening day. That's what I need. Banging you up out here, that don't do nothing for me, because I know you work your butt off. I know you're responsible. I don't need you pushing it through right now.
Yeah, that's smart because there's a lot of people who will wind up losing their entire season because they wanted to go hard in a practice scenario, or they just wanted to thump a little bit, and they wind up getting hurt for the entire year. And so the shortened preseason hopefully should be helping that. I want to see everybody at full strength. I'm an Eagles fan, but like it does me no pleasure like if the Eagles beat the Cowboys' third string quarterback. I want to
Didn't
see
the Eagles just get blasted in the pregame? No, I'm sorry, not pregame. In a preseason game the other day.
badly. 35-0.
Let me
So
tell
how
you
much?
something. I don't care what you say as a coach. You don't want to lose, period. But 35-0 in the preseason, that means you practice better than I practice. I know we didn't game plan, we didn't do none of this, but that's telling me your guys practice much better than our guys practice, because that's what you're looking at the preseason as practices. And your depth is a lot better than our depth. That's what it looks like. It's no way as a coach. They can call it what they want. It's no way I want to lose, period. But 35-0 in a preseason game, ain't no way in the world, man.
Yeah, and people do try to convince themselves like, oh, preseason doesn't mean anything. It has to mean something.
It means that guy that they had on their team out there first is better than the guy that you have on your team that was out there first. I know you didn't game plan. I know, but your base defenses and the initial offenses, they're that much better. That's what that meant.
Yeah, that's an embarrassment for sure. And the Philadelphia media is trying to do the mental gymnastics of saying, oh, well, our practice, when we went head-to-head with them in the practice sessions, we look better in the practice sessions. So that's where it really counted, not the preseason game. I don't know. 35-0 didn't feel good at all.
That means you're doing great when we don't have company there. But when we let the company in, you can't play with the darn. I'd rather you like they did. They beat him in practice, but when the company came, like, you ain't gonna beat me in front of company. You ain't gonna beat me in front of my family.
Yeah. Belichick was dead serious about that. He didn't really care about the practice sessions. He said, when the lights are on, we're gonna whip your behind. And the Eagles are smarting. They're not feeling that good after those first two games. We're gonna get out of here pretty soon. Before we do, though, Gervonta Davis, a scary moment. He got in a plane crash. He's okay though, but I mean, that's just a terrifying thing for him to go through.
But there's another rapper that just said he was on that flight too.
Was Kodak Black maybe?
Yeah. Kodak Black said he was on that flight and he's not okay. I don't know if that's the truth, but honestly, how is there ever a minor plane crash? If a plane crash, it's major. I've never heard of a minor plane crash. So what happened? Was it on the runway? Was it on the takeoff? What was it?
That's what they made it seem like.
Because you can't fall out of the sky and we okay, we good. Like, what happened?
Yeah, they made it seem like there was something with the takeoff gear or something happened with the nose. But at the same time, like, this is a pretty wealthy guy who's taking not the smallest plane. It didn't have like a propeller on it or anything like that. That's the type of plane that people take every single day. And we've kind of put it past ourselves that there can be crashes with planes like that. There could be accidents with planes like that. Like the plane that Dave Portnoy is probably flying out to Rough and Rowdy in is going to look a lot like that plane. So a scary moment for him, but he's still an absolute dog. I think that Jake Paul tried to wish him well on Instagram, and he just told him to shut up or like to leave him alone or something like that. He's still going to have that exact same energy. He's still going to be able to talk trash with anybody. But we're just happy that Gervonta Davis is okay.
Amen. And all that were involved, the pilots and other passengers that were involved, we're thankful because you rarely ever hear there was a plane crash, but everyone's okay. And I'm truly thankful because those are guys and probably girls on the plane as pilots as well that have family, friends, and loved ones that care just as much.
And speaking of boxing, Rough and Rowdy this week, Coach Prime King will be in the building. We brought it up on the last show, 21st in Prime, and it was a possibility at that time. Right now, it is a certainty. Prime King in the building. Yeah. Bobby Lang, Pac-Man Jones. He has to see his own fighter fight.
I'm predicting, Don Prime King is predicting that my fighter is going to win by second round knockout. I text Dave Portnoy and let him know it would be a second round knockout. That's what I'm predicting. and they call me Prime Don King, a Don Prime King. One of them. I haven't figured out which one I want to go with, but yeah, it's the King in the Prime.
People have to be watching this. Buy rnr.com. If you're a 21st and Prime listener, you have to be treating yourself because you've seen the entire genesis of the fight. You saw it as an idea. It started off just Pac-Man as an idea, and then it's blossomed into this whole thing that's actually going to be happening. See the fruits of the labor, see this guy who I thought that he looked pretty good. And then he came on last week's episode. He popped the top off and he was looking shredded as a julienne salad. This dude was looking absolutely yoked. Bobby Lang is going to be in for a long night for sure.
And this is only my first fighter. Like, trust me when I tell you, I have a lineup that may be announced that night of other guys that are ready to fight. One thing that we're not going to do, we're not going to fight one another.
That's fair.
But we will fight all the Barstoolians, the Barstoolers, all the people that represent Barstools and want to get something. We will fight.
The big country boys from West Virginia, the coal miners, the guys who chop down trees for a living, all those dudes, you'll take all of them?
We want some. And then once we get just two on a big card, we want to fight in Mississippi or Atlanta.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to take Rough and Rowdy. Rough and Rowdy. We rowdy. See, we're going to add a rowdy to the rough. Rough and rowdy.
Ooh, I like that. I like the sound of that. People have to watch that on Friday. Also, the Coach Prime doc is coming up faster than people know. There's surprises in store for that. That's going to be absolutely electric. There's so much good stuff going on. There's great stuff going on down in Jackson. Great stuff going on with 21st and Prime, and it's an absolute pleasure. So we will catch all of you next time. Coach, thanks so much.
Love you. God bless.